everyone. I'm Councilmember Mitch O'Farrell, representing the 13th District, and I'd like to welcome you to my 66th Councilmember in Your Corner. I apologize because we were off to an earlier start, but there was no audio. So we're starting this all over again, and we will go a little over the time so that we can get this entire program available to everyone. In this edition of Councilmember in Your Corner, we will share the work that we're doing in Elysian Valley to improve the neighborhood's quality of life. Since taking office in 2013, I've made it a priority to go door to door in every neighborhood in the 13th District on a regular basis. It is more important now than ever to bring City Hall directly to your door, or more accurately, to your screen, offering services and introducing residents to the people in your government who make things happen every day. Due to the pandemic, the tradition continues virtually, and I'm thankful for our city departments, our community organizations, and Channel 35 studios who have partnered with me to make this happen, and that's where we're broadcasting from today. But before we get started, let's talk about the surge in COVID-19 cases. The data is clear. Case counts have surged astronomically in Los Angeles County, even exceeding in one day last week 20,000 infections. This surge is overwhelming and destabilizing our entire healthcare system. Right now, the availability of intensive care unit beds remains at 0% in Southern California. That means patients may not be able to get the specialized care they need, as in many instances, they're fighting for their lives against this deadly virus, or may have other emergency needs unrelated to the pandemic. While there is light at the end of the tunnel, in fact, the first vaccination in the county occurred in the 13th District at Kaiser Permanente in East Hollywood. Things will likely get much worse before they get better if we do not take immediate action to limit the spread of the virus. This holiday season has been challenging and unlike any we've ever experienced, but we all have a part to play in reducing the spread. That means practicing social distancing, wearing a mask, only going outside of your home for essential activities, and avoiding gatherings with people. And when you do, always mask up. Taking these small but crucial steps will put us on a stronger footing in the new year to return more quickly to seeing our loved ones, as well as getting our local economy humming again. So please be vigilant. With that, let's get into the program here. Elysian Valley is a neighborhood bound by Fletcher Drive to the north, the Los Angeles River to the east, with the 5 freeway sharing the boundary along either side of Riverside Drive to the south and west. Since taking office, we've championed many projects and initiatives to improve the quality of life in Elysian Valley, and I want to highlight 3 of them. The first, the Taylor Yard Pedestrian Bridge. Let's talk about how we connect our LA River communities, and with this, a monumental project well underway. The Taylor Yard Pedestrian Bridge, which will connect Elysian Valley with the other side of the river and directly to the Rio de Los Angeles State Park. This bridge is the product of 3 decades of hard work and was championed by former Councilmember Ed Reyes, who represented the 1st District from 01 to 13. When I took office in 2013, he handed the baton to me, and we're carrying the project across the finish line. In June of last year, we finally broke ground on the bridge. The photo you see on the screen is a site tour that I took last October to assess the bridge's progress, and as you can see, the steel frame and much more at this point is now in place. I'm also happy to report that the bridge will open in the summer of 2021, giving Elysian Valley residents a safer, healthier pedestrian route to active and passive recreational opportunities at our state park across the river. I am thankful to the community members who advocated for this connection. Together, we held the former Los Angeles County Transportation Committee to its legal obligation to build this bridge. Also, a big thank you to the LA Bureau of Engineering, who've worked tirelessly to complete this remarkable project. And this isn't the only new bridge connecting our river communities. My office spearheaded the creation and the construction of the Red Car Pedestrian Bridge just to the north in Atwater Village, and helped shepherd the creation of the North Atwater Bridge in Atwater Village also. Both are now open. When it comes to bridges at the LA River, I want to look back into our past for a quick moment. Almost a century ago, Merrill Butler designed many of the iconic bridges that span the Los Angeles River, including the Glendale Hyperion Bridge Complex. After almost no new bridge connections since that time, we should all be proud of our recent contributions to this new pantheon of historic bridges and making newer connections. In the near future, there will be announcements of even more bridges crossing the river in the 13th District, so please stay tuned. Next, I'd like to highlight something that's very important. An event that we held at the Guatemalan consulate, and we need to hold the language here. You're getting ahead of me here. So we opened the Consulate General in Guatemala a couple of years ago. And so when the pandemic hit, we partnered with them to do a food distribution. So we know that everything came to a screeching halt, but I knew at that time in March that our top priority would be to marshal all of our resources to help keep families fed and housed. The resulting pandemic economy has increased food insecurity significantly. According to a study from the USC Dornsife College's Public Exchange, more than 1 in 4 Los Angeles County households have faced at least one instance of food insecurity between April and July of this year, well above pre-pandemic levels. My team and I have hosted or sponsored more than 20 food distributions this year and partnered with many great 13th District organizations in this endeavor, feeding literally tens of thousands of people over the past 9 months. In September, my office collaborated with the consulates of Guatemala, Nicaragua, Honduras, El Salvador, and Costa Rica to host a food distribution event right there in Elysian Valley that provided food to more than 1,000 families. We've since doubled down on our efforts by partnering with the Salvadoran Leadership and Educational Fund and Sustainable Economic Enterprises of Los Angeles to host a monthly food distribution at my district office. We helped 150 families at our monthly distribution just yesterday. If you'd like to participate, please check the comments section of this broadcast. Another highlight is small business support in general. For the fourth and final highlight before we get to our amazing panelists, I want to talk about our struggling small businesses. Every day we see a new headline about the devastating impact of the coronavirus that it's having on our business community. According to a Fortune magazine article, nearly 100,000 businesses that shut down due to the pandemic will never reopen. Statistics like these are devastating and threaten the fabric of our neighborhoods. We must do everything we can to support our local business community. Since Small Business Saturday last month, I've shopped at over a dozen local and independently owned businesses in the 13th District, including Spoke Bicycle Cafe and Just What I Needed in Elysian Valley. I implore everyone to shop local for any remaining gifts you may have for the holidays. You can play a role ensuring that our small businesses survive. In fact, after this broadcast, I'm going to wrap up my holiday shopping in the 13th District, so maybe I'll see you out there this afternoon. Policy-wise, I created a small business grant program. This $1 million program of reprioritized discretionary funding has allocated grants of up to $5,000 to 60 small businesses in Council District 13 so far. They range from restaurants to kayak rental businesses along the LA River. I'm actively working with city partners to create a second round of funding for this program. Please subscribe to my newsletter for updates. The sign-up link is in the comments section of this broadcast. And again, please remember to shop local during this holiday season. You could be helping a neighbor. Now, I want to turn our attention to the Council District 13 Clean Team. Since the beginning of my first term in office, I've prioritized partnering with the LA Conservation Corps to fund cleanups throughout the district that go above and beyond existing city services. The crew was out in the district 6 days a week, clearing trash, debris, and overgrown vegetation from our streets and sidewalks. This partnership also provides training, mentoring, and income to our local youth. In particular, I want to thank Yoselin Barrera and Jonathan Reyes, who are the drivers of our clean team. Together, they tackled more than 900 small and large projects across the entire 13th District in the year 2020 alone. So let's take a look at some of the photos from this week. The clean team completed a beautification project on Ripple Street between Partridge Avenue and North Coolidge Avenue. The work involved litter and debris abatement to improve access for pedestrians on the sidewalk. I want to thank the clean team for their continued collaboration, and you can always see their work posted on my social media channels. There's also a link in the comments section of this broadcast. And remember, the youth that are employed through this clean team might be your neighbors. So in supporting them, you're also supporting cleaner neighborhoods. A quick reminder, we're going to take some questions at the end of the program, and we'll get to as many as we can, but if we run out of time, we'll follow up personally with a response to all of your questions. Now I'd like to introduce some of our community partners who are joining us today to talk about their work to improve the quality of life in Elysian Valley. So joining us today are Marty Adams, the General Manager for the Los Angeles Department of Water and Power. We have Jaime Madrigal, an engineer with Los Angeles Bureau of Street Lighting. Tanya Burrell, I'm sorry, Tanya. I've known Tanya for 20 years. I just called her Burrell, but it's Durrell. The Public Information Director for LA Sanitation and Environment. And we have Joshua Melendez, and an outreach coordinator with LA Sanitation and Environment. And Alex Ramirez, Program Manager with LA Moss. Also joining us from my staff is Hector Vega. So I'd like to introduce Hector, my Elysian Valley Field Deputy. Hector is my liaison for all things Elysian Valley and is me out in the world when I can't be there myself. So Hector, what should residents know about the services that we offer in our district?
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. So as the council member mentioned, my name is Hector Vega. I've been with the council member for 5 years now, servicing the communities of Elysian Valley and Glassell Park. My work consists of working with the community to resolve quality of life issues and bringing neighborhood services to the neighborhoods that I oversee. During this pandemic, the best way to contact me is via telephone at 213-207-3019 or via email at hector.vega@lacity.org.
Thank you, Hector. Hector is a man of few words, but a man of great action on your behalf. So Hector, thank you, and you are a valued part of the CD13 team. All right, now Marty Adams is the General Manager of the Los Angeles Department of Water and Power. Marty's here to discuss LADWP's efforts to maintain critical services during the pandemic while helping our most vulnerable residents with their utility payments. So I warmly welcome Marty to the panel. Marty, please take it away.
Thank you, Councilmember. It's great to be here today and to be with everyone. I hope everyone is doing their best to stay safe and stay healthy. Certainly, it's a very trying time, and as the city's utility, it's really a difficult time for us as well, where we're trying to make sure that our employees are safe and their families are safe. At the same time, we realize that we are essential workers and that we provide for very critical service, especially with people at home. Water and power service is so important, and we've known that all through the pandemic as we've seen, people's particularly energy use go up at home because their families are home, or yourself are home, your kids are at home, and everything we're doing is online, everything's plugged in. So power reliability during the day at home in the residential areas has become even more important than normally. Our crews are working all the time as normal. We provide all the services. We've had to make a lot of adjustments, just like a lot of folks. We do a lot of telecommuting. We've had staff in our building. We still have people who have to come in to man the phones and man a lot of the backroom processes that we have. But we continue to work. Almost 11,000 employees of the Department of Water and Power have been working this entire time through the pandemic to serve you and to make sure that the needs of the city are being met. Our field forces have been extremely dedicated during this time. We've had a couple wildfire issues, some wind issues, and so we've had to continue our levels of emergency response. Right now, so you know, during this real height of the surge right now, we're reducing the number of field crews that we have out in the field at any time, so that we make sure that we always have healthy employees to send out in case of emergency. And we're doing very different things. We're not reporting our folks to the yard. We're putting less people in a vehicle, but still at the end of the day, if it's a couple guys down in the ditch that are having to work nose to nose on a water main break, or if they're working on a pole top, fixing a transformer or replacing a wire, we're doing everything we can to keep our employees safe, at the same time making sure that we do what you need us to do for you, and to make sure that your water and power continue to flow reliably to your homes. And so it's very important for us that we keep up that level of service, and we're doing so in the smartest and safest way that we can possibly do. But we have made a lot of adjustments to how our crews operate. Sometimes we'll get a call from the public, say, well, your crews are standing too close together, or I think generally people wearing masks is not an issue anymore. We actually had to create fire retardant masks for our guys to do electrical work, so that they couldn't get burned during if there's electrical flash. We've had a lot of innovation that's come out of the Department of Water and Power to continue to serve you. But believe me, our crews are doing what they need to do to stay safe, and at the same time provide the level of service that you need, particularly right now when everything's so different and so many people are stuck at home and they really rely on their water and power to run without question. Obviously, there's been this is a tough time on all of our customers. Folks having difficulty with finances, with paying rent, paying all their bills, and that sort of thing. And so at the very beginning of this pandemic, we made the decision, and reinforced by the mayor, that we're not doing any water and power shutoffs. Right now, just so you know, we'd said to the end of the year, we've not made an official extension, but practically speaking, we won't be looking at this until probably sometime in the spring when things really change. But right now, we're encouraging all our employees, all our customers, if you can pay your bill, don't wait to pay your bill, because that bill still continues to exist. But we've had some folks that have not been able to pay the bill or pay the entire bill, and we're working on programs with our customers in really changing our extended payment programs and other things, and also still looking at what we can do to help lighten the load, because there's so many financial difficulties that people are experiencing. But at the same time, we're not doing any shutoffs. We're not doing any credit reporting. We're not doing any late fees. That doesn't mean we're not encouraging people to continue to stay up with their water and power bills, because that will eventually affect the level of service and the level of reliability of the system. So we need to be able to continue to do our work to support you. One of the things we were very proud of, and that the City Council voted to make happen, was the city had about $700 million of CARES Act money, and there was some money that was still due to be spent by the end of the year. And so we were asked by the City Council if we could do a program to help customers with utility bills. And so we actually, within about a month's time, were able to take applications and submit out almost 68,000 checks for $500 to customers who were low income, who had trouble paying their bills, and qualified under the CARES Act provisions. So those checks have made it out. We're seeing most of them being cashed already, but that was a great way. We got almost $35 million of federal money that had been given to the city back out into the hands of customers to help people with their bills. And so we're very proud of the fact we were able to jump on that and get that done so quickly. We continue to look at new programs, things we can do to help folks, get through this. We're trying to be kinder and gentler as we approach all of our customers in meeting your own situations. At the same time, when we have water and power systems operate, and there's bills that have to be paid both in water and power areas. And so we're trying to play that delicate balance between doing what we need to do as a business to continue to support you, and at the same time try to make it possible for people to deal with their utility bills as well as the other financial obligations that I know everyone is facing. So with that, that's my summary of what we're going to have going on. Well, I promise you that we continue to be out there every day. We'll be out there on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day and New Year's Day, just like we always are, responding to problems in the system to make sure that your power and water remain on and remain reliable through the entire pandemic. Thank you very much, Councilmember.
Marty, thank you so much. And that utility payment program, subsidy program, has been a godsend. You mentioned 68,000 customers. Just for the record, between that program, between the rent subsidy program that the City Council approved, helping tens of thousands of renters with an actual subsidy, between the small business subsidy program in my district and a few other council members are doing something similar, we really are doing all we can to keep people fed, housed, the lights on, the water running. And you know, we will need to keep this up as the pandemic eases once the vaccination rate goes up. So we'll be in this for the long haul. And as I mentioned earlier, it's going to get a little tougher before it gets better. But we are at the beginning of the end of the pandemic, but it's going to take that long-term, all of 2021 effort as we move along. So thank you so much, Marty, and thank you to the entire LADWP community for taking good care of us. We really appreciate it. All right, next we have Jaime Madrigal of the Los Angeles Bureau of Street Lighting. This is really important in Elysian Valley. My constituents know that we've had the goal of making sure that we finish all of the street lighting that began some 15, 16 years ago. This is an ongoing project that's been very important to me since I worked in the office of my predecessor. The installation of these lights in Elysian Valley, which has, as I said, it's been a priority of mine. So Jaime, welcome, and please explain to the viewers what the latest update is with streetlights in Elysian Valley.
Thank you. I will be presenting a presentation. Okay. So good morning. My name is Jaime Madrigal from the Bureau of Street Lighting. I will be presenting the street lighting projects that are within the Elysian Valley. I will talk about Elysian Valley Phase 5, 6, and 7. But first, I want to brief everyone on how the street lighting project gets started. Well, first, it's requested by the community and is initiated by the council district, where the council district contacts street lighting. The project site must be in a residential area that's considered to be low to moderate income. So what does the application process look like? Well, the Bureau of Street Lighting determines the eligibility. The Bureau has to determine whether the project site is indeed in a residential area and at least 51% of the property owners are low to moderate income. We then conduct a preliminary street lighting design layout. From that layout, we prepare a cost estimate. We then submit the application to the Los Angeles Housing and Community Investment Department, HCLA for short. Once HCLA determines final approval, the grant gets released to start the design phase. Let's talk about the street lighting process. First, the application is submitted, then once approved, the grant gets released. We can start on the design phase of the project, and at the same time, we start working on the Prop 218 process. Prop 218, the Right to Vote on Taxes Act, is required for any new street lighting system. This entails sending out voting ballots to all property owners who will benefit from the new street lighting system. Once Prop 218 passes, we finalize the design. Once approved, we can then start on the construction phase. This is done either in-house or gets contracted out in order to complete the project. Now that we know the street lighting process, let's jump over to some projects in the Elysian Valley community. First off is Elysian Valley Phase 7. As you can see, the project area is bounded by Elm Grove Street, Riverside Drive, and Barclay Street. At the moment, Elysian Valley Phase 7 is in the design phase. Design phase entails surveying the project area. This is done to take notes of any obstructions such as fire hydrants, water meters, trees, power posts, and driveways. After surveying, the designer inputs the information into a lighting simulation program to determine the pole distance and take count of how many streetlights are required to meet lighting standards. At the same time, Prop 218 is happening. If it passes, the final design gets approved. So where are we with Elysian Valley Phase 7? Well, we are proposing to install 44 streetlights. Prop 218 has passed. Plans are expected to be finalized by early spring and construction phase to start by early fall of 2021. The next project is Elysian Valley Phase 6, which is bounded by Harwood Street, Riverside Drive, Elm Grove Street. At the moment, the project is in the construction phase. There will be a total of 26 new streetlights. So far, the Bureau has dug and poured all the foundations for the poles, and we are working on laying down the pipework underground. The construction phase is 30% completed, and it's expected to be completed by early spring. Lastly, I would like to briefly talk about Elysian Valley Phase 5, which is bounded by Shoredale Avenue, Riverside Drive, Crystal Street, and Harwood Street. We completed this project earlier this year. We have installed 23 new streetlights. As you can see in the picture, Elysian Valley Phase 5, 6, and 7 will have a decorative pendant attached to a concrete pole. The next images are some photos that were taken at night that I would like to share. So this wraps up the street lighting presentation. I'm Jaime Madrigal, and I thank you for your undivided attention.
Thank you so much, Jaime, and thank you to the entire Bureau. It is a pleasure to work with you all. This has been a long-time mission of mine to make sure that every street in Elysian Valley has a beautiful decorative street light that both takes care of pedestrians, because it's a pedestrian scale, while lighting up the street, making the neighborhood safer. I am so thankful for our community members and partners within the Bureau of Street Lighting who worked with my office to ensure this project was funded. Now, I'll pause here for just a second and just say that way back in the day, when Javier Becerra was our congressman, the first phase of this way back in the day was through earmarks, congressional earmarks. Well, those ended. So it's important to note that we have to, since then, we've had to identify funding from other sources than congressional earmarks. So it makes the fact that we are in this final phase of streetlights even more remarkable, because the neighborhood, we're scrappy. We knew we wanted to finish the streetlights in Elysian Valley. Through rigorous exploration and applying for funding here and there, we're able to make it happen with the support of the residents who approved the Prop 218 ballots. So this is an all-in approach, and congratulations, community, because now we have streetlights. Good stuff. So anyone who walked the streets before these new lights will tell you how much they've enhanced the beauty of the neighborhood and made it safer for everyone. So sometime in 2021, we'll flip the switch, and we'll do it together post-pandemic. Next, I'd like to introduce Tanya Durrell and Josh Melendez from LA Sanitation and Environment. This bureau has been doing critical infrastructure work throughout Elysian Valley, and I'm so happy that they're here to present on this work. So, Tanya, please take it away.
Thank you so much, Council Member. And as you said, we have a 20-year relationship working on behalf of CD13, and it's been a tremendous opportunity to work alongside you. I'm here today to talk to you about a couple of sewer projects that are taking place in your district. They are part of the North Outfall sewer, which is a sewer line that was built in the 1920s. So you can imagine that it continues to need rehabilitation throughout the years. This system carries water from San Fernando Valley, Burbank, Glendale, LA, and Culver City to the Hyperion Waste Water Reclamation Plant near LAX. And as you know, LA Sanitation is highly committed to ensuring that your constituents are well informed and engaged in terms of our projects and knowing where the schedules are hitting, where the impacts are. And so our community outreach team works very closely with your field staff to ensure that these updates are conveyed to your constituents. And so I have with me Joshua Melendez, part of our community outreach team, who's going to talk specifically about our NOS 12 and 13 projects, as well as another project, NOS 14, that is coming up in 2021. So Josh?
Good morning, everybody. My name is Josh Melendez, and I serve as part of the community outreach team representative for all the North Outfall Sewer System projects, or NOS projects, within the Elysian Valley community. We have two projects currently underway and in construction, and those are the phase 4 for NOS 12 as well as NOS 13. And the other one is still pending, but has construction slated to begin in the first half of 2021 as NOS 14. To start and begin, the NOS 12 project was considered an emergency sewer repair project due to some initial camera inspections that detected some significant deterioration within the sewer system. After the determination, LA Sanitation and Environment wanted these matters to be addressed immediately, and the contractor will be doing some rehabilitation of the approximately 594 linear feet of the circular 48-inch sewer pipeline. For the Elysian Valley community members, the portion of this project, which is phase 4, will be performed within the community. And that includes a pit construction at the intersection of Blake Avenue and Barclay Street. This is going to be used in conjunction with a temporary sewer bypass system that will connect to the pit on Blake Avenue and Barclay Street and will go southward adjacent to Riverside Drive. Also, other rehabilitation activities will include pipe cleaning, debris removal, and structural lining of the pipe. This phase 4 portion is on track to be completed in February 2021. Along with that, north of the Barclay Blake Avenue intersection, we have the NOS 13 project, which has been going on for several months now. The purpose of this project was to rehabilitate approximately 5,067 feet of this portion of the North Outfall sewer system. This project scope includes Blake Avenue from Forney Street to Barclay Street. And work that has been completed to date has been pipe cleaning, debris removal, structural lining, and grouting. Current activities that are underway on Blake Avenue is some new maintenance flow constructions at several intersections along Blake Avenue. There's 5 that are right now scheduled, and that is for Dallas Street, Doris Place, Ead Street, Cabot Street, and Birkdale Street. Along with these construction of new maintenance flows, we have already begun our restoration activities, which I'm happy to report. And you may have seen some intersections that have already had some backfilling and base paving performed at certain locations where pits were actually installed for our sewer project. I can confirm that next up for backfilling and base paving work, we will have the intersections of Blake Avenue and Doris Place and Blake Avenue and Cabot Street completed within the next few weeks. And then there will be a final paving activity performed in February 2021 at all of these previous pit locations. There will be other restoration tasks that will be completed throughout now to the end of the project timeline. And I'm also happy to confirm that our project is on track to be completed by February 2021. The last project that we have underway or planned for the upcoming year is NOS 14. The scope for that one will begin at the north end, the northbound of the NOS 13, which is Blake Avenue and Forney Street, and it will continue northway all the way to Marsh Street within the Elysian Valley community. We are still assembling our project team members, but you can expect to see some project fact sheets being distributed to you door to door, and we'll be following the CDC and local municipal guidelines when performing that canvassing effort so that all of the community members may have that information available for you. We'll be providing that as soon as possible when we have that confirmed and well in advance of any construction activities beginning for NOS 14. If there's any questions or any other comments or inquiries you would like to have about our sewer project, please feel free to contact me at my email, joshua.melendez@lacity.org, or you can also reach me by phone at 213-485-3221. Thank you so much for your time.
Tanya and Josh, thank you so much. And we know that.
Thank you.
Oh, I'm so glad you were able to join us. We know that there will be inconveniences due to this work in Elysian Valley, but the alternative is to have failures and breaks, which would be so much worse for everyone. So I'm really grateful that sanitation is so focused on this community to ensure a future free of any failures in our sewer system, because it would affect Elysian Valley residents the most. So thank you so much for your work. And as you can see, folks, you know, the work carries forward during the pandemic, in the midst of the pandemic. This is what is happening on your behalf. while we go about our lives and we stay safe at home and protect ourselves from this pandemic. Tanya, did you have anything else to add?
Yes, thank you, Councilmember.
Sure.
I just wanted to say that we have a customer, LA Sanitation and Environment, a customer care call center that is open 24 hours, 7 days a week. So if folks have any questions about any of our projects or have concerns about sewer system issues, they can call 1-800-773-2489.
Terrific. Thank you. All right.
Thank you.
Now I'd like to introduce our final panelist of the event, and it's Alexandra Ramirez with LA MAS. LA MAS is doing extraordinary work in Northeast Los Angeles and even beyond. But they've also been a key partner in our mission to keep families housed and fed during the pandemic. Joining us is Alex Ramirez, their program manager, here to say a few words. And tell us about LA MAS, Alex, and your office is in Elysian Valley, I understand.
Yes, thank you so much for having us. Good morning, everyone. I'm actually going to share a presentation, so give me 1 second. Here we go. So as Councilmember mentioned, my name is Alex Ramirez. I work for the nonprofit LA MAS. We are a local organization based in Elysian Valley, and we serve Northeast LA. Our office is on Ripple and Clearwater Street. And our mission is to design and build initiatives that promote neighborhood resilience and elevate the agency of working class communities of color. In the past, we have developed community visioning projects like Futuro de Frogtown, and we have supported hyperlocal knowledge food hubs where residents shared resources from the neighborhood. And so, sorry, I meant knowledge hubs, not food hubs. We envision a Northeast LA where communities of color have equitable access and power and resources needed to shape their neighborhoods. So let me talk to you a little bit about what we've been doing lately. Last April, we started the Community Response Initiative in support of community leaders who were checking in on their neighbors to see how they could help during the shelter-at-home order. As we started calling residents and training volunteers, it became very clear that food access was a main priority. For the first few months, we provided groceries, face masks, and activity kits through a volunteer-led delivery service. In September, we shifted our efforts towards a weekly food distribution program called the Northeast LA Mercadito, which is located at the Elysian Valley Community Garden with the support of other partner organizations, the Elysian Valley Community Garden, LA Compost, and Food Forward. Every Friday from 2 to 4 p.m., we bring free fresh fruits and vegetables for all residents, no matter their housing or immigration status. The produce varies each week. So far, we have had over 26 different varieties of produce, including apples, spinach, onions, and much more. Families can also choose the amount of and types of items they prefer, and they can provide a cell phone number to receive weekly notifications. Some highlights of our program include we've been running the Northeast LA Mercadito and bringing free fresh produce to our neighborhood for the last 4 months. We have also reached over 600 families, mostly through word of mouth. We have translation and interpretation weekly every Friday in Spanish, and we're also working on Vietnamese, Cantonese, and Khmer. We also developed a decentralized food distribution system, which is supported by local food hub leaders. And all of our day of logistics and distribution are 100% volunteer and resident led. Every week, we support at least 150 families at the distribution site on Blake and Rich Street. All of these families are excited to get free fresh produce available in their neighborhood. Some are seniors who have shared that this feels a lot safer to them than going to a grocery store. And most, if not all of these families rely on this program as a way to save money every week so that they can spend on other expenses like rent and utility bills. Through our decentralized food system, we also support an additional 150 families every week. 75% of these families are in Elysian Valley, and the rest come from neighboring communities in Glassell Park, Cypress Park, Montecito Heights, Highland Park, among others. Our food hub leaders pick up food to distribute to at least 10 families or more, and this has helped us double the amount of families that we serve every week. Our hope is to continue to grow these food hubs and support residents in sharing additional resources with each other, building off that experience of the knowledge hubs we had a few years back. So every Friday, we serve more than 300 families, and we have a list of 600 participating families in our program. We have ran the program for the last 16 weeks, and we hope to continue to do so throughout the spring of 2021. This is all possible thanks to the support of over 40 volunteers and 6 resident food hubs in Elysian Valley. Most of the people involved in our program have connections to our community. They either live a few blocks away, they have family or parents living here, or they work in the area. We have also received logistical support from other businesses and local organizations, like Landmark Global, which brings the produce from the warehouse site, LA Works, which helps us with volunteer coordination, Acción Comunitaria distributes any surplus food, and EFRA Partners provides off-site amenities for our volunteers. Local community organizations help us spread the word, and of course, we've received a lot of support from all the folks at CD13. We also receive additional donations that include bread, lima bean kits, reusable bags, coffee, and much more. If you'd like to learn more about our program, please visit www.mas.la/Nila Mercadito. If you'd like to volunteer, please email us at community@mas.la. And please consider donating and supporting our work at www.mas.la. I also want to thank all of the community members who have trusted us in this process. Our community is strong, but we will need additional support and investment, especially now as COVID-19 cases continue to surge, and we continue to hear that food, rent relief, and employment opportunities are top priorities. We thank everyone at CD13 for their incredible support, which has allowed us to connect residents to much needed information on the programs and services available to support them. Thank you so much for having us today.
Alex, thank you so much. We love your mission. We love LA Mas. It has a history of the way it came together in a very organic fashion. And the fact that you are pivoting to meet this moment, along with so many other organizations and nonprofits and agencies, it really warms the heart. And let me just give a shout out to the volunteer corps that support your food distribution efforts here, the gardeners, the volunteers, and just volunteers in general. I love saying this because it's the absolute truth. I started in this business as a volunteer myself in my neighborhood long before I ever thought I would go into elective office and represent the 13th District. So I know that it's the volunteer corps in the city of Los Angeles that makes things happen in all of our neighborhoods. So that's a partnership that I highly value because that's how we move our communities forward. So I want to thank LA Mas and all of the volunteers in Elysian Valley. I saw some familiar faces in that picture. It's really terrific to see everyone. So thank you so much, everyone, the entire panel. You're amazing, all the great work going on. Now we have some time for some questions. So we'll take some questions from our viewers. And what's our first one?
Councilman, can you speak to traffic safety improvements in Elysian Valley, including Riverside Drive?
That's a great question. Hector from my office has been leading the conversation for the past couple of years with the Department of Transportation. We are really leaning in deep on an entire traffic management plan in Elysian Valley with community input. The pandemic, caused a bit of a delay because we were meeting in person, but we're meeting virtually, and we'll have more updates on that. In fact, I'm thinking that we might, at a future Council Member in Your Corner in Elysian Valley, just focus on transportation. But I can tell you this right now. We've, over the years, improved access safely across Riverside Drive with some crosswalks and ladder crosswalks and new signals at Newell in particular. Now, Hector has been working for a while with the Department of Transportation, and we have approved all-way left turn signals at Fletcher and Riverside Drive. Many Elysian Valley residents have been enjoying the all left turn signals at the intersection of Fletcher and San Fernando Road, which is an intersection that I am near as well. So more of those traffic calming measures are coming through in terms of safer crosswalks. We know that the community supports turn restrictions here and there, so we're exploring that so we can reduce the cut-through traffic in Elysian Valley, really important. My mission is to make it safer for pedestrians. That's my number one priority as far as transit. And so we're working toward that in Elysian Valley. So stay tuned, and we'll put something together, perhaps a council member in your corner, specific to that sometime in the spring.
Thank you, Councilman. Our next question is, with the surge in COVID-19 cases, where can I get a COVID test in the 13th District?
So we brought COVID testing to Echo Park some months ago, and it fairly quickly reached full capacity at 1,000 tests per day. With this crazy surge that's going on, it's maxed out, and they cannot any longer take walk-up you just can't walk up and get a testing longer. It takes an appointment online. So it'll be that way probably during this current surge, and perhaps after it eases a bit, we'll be able to take walk-up testing again. That takes place right near, we just moved it. It was at the Edendale Library for the last several months. We've now moved it to Reservoir Street, right behind the Tex restaurant. So for information and details on how to sign up, please look at the comments section or just check with my office, cd13.com. You can also get drive-through testing at Dodger Stadium. And again, you can register for that in advance. So if you would like help with that, contact us and we'll talk you through it.
Thank you, Councilman. This next question is for LA Sanitation and Environment regarding upcoming sewer construction projects. How can LA Sanitation coordinate with local businesses to mitigate the impact?
Thank you. That's a great question. As part of our outreach, before any project starts, we go out and make contact with the area business owners as well as the residents in the area. So as part of that effort, we would be in touch with the business owner on a regular basis. As construction is underway, we look to actually those folks to tell us what the impacts are. We determine those before the project, but as business owners and people who are living in the community, obviously you experience them differently than we do. So we would be in touch with you through our various notifications. You can call us at any time, and that is something that we take very seriously, working very closely to identify impacts and to mitigate them. We've done things like business signage. We've held business briefings at your locations just to make sure that you have all of the information on hand. So we're open to discuss whatever mitigations might be necessary.
Thanks, Tanya.
Thank you.
And Councilman, this will be our final question of this edition of Council Member in Your Corner. Can you describe your work to improve the safety of pedestrians on the LA River shared path?
Sure. A few years back, we received a grant, a $1 million grant. We are now working on the implementation of those safety measures. So the best up-to-date resource for information and to participate in what you would like to see with those safety measures to reduce the conflict between bicyclists and pedestrians, please contact Hector here, who is part of this panel, my deputy for Elysian Valley. Some of the things considered, increased signage, something that are called rumble strips that will actually force the bicyclists to slow down when there is a pedestrian sort of entryway. Bicycles can travel up to 40 miles an hour, and sometimes they do. We've had some very, very serious, dangerous situations there, which is why I felt it was so important to mitigate that interaction between bicyclists and pedestrians. So please get involved and give us that input, because we do have a grant, and you are going to see safety mitigation measures at that shared path along the river. And in the meantime, enjoy it. It's beautiful. The weather's beautiful this time of the year during the day. So enjoy the river. We strive to improve the river. It's a wonderful, beautiful resource. But always take every precaution, be very careful, mask up and glove up if you need to, and let's be safe. But we can still enjoy life in our neighborhoods, but we just have to be a little more careful than usual during the pandemic. And with that, folks, we will definitely answer the questions you have until they're all answered that you've submitted. And I want to thank everyone for the great questions, but we'll make time again in the coming months, actually in the coming weeks. In the new year, we'll have our next council member in your corner, so stay tuned for that. And I want to thank the extraordinary panelists today for your care and your compassion and your awareness of this pandemic and how it is affecting our neighborhoods. There's never been anything like it. So I really want to applaud all of you for understanding that and bringing Angelenos closer together than ever before in your respective professions, because that's what the City of Angels is all about. And so you all are helping define that, and we thank you. So to everyone, thank you, Channel 35, for making this possible for us today. Please have a safe, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's, Happy Holidays, however you choose to celebrate it. Be careful, and let's ring in 2021 and put 2020 in the rearview mirror, but keep our faith, keep that optimism going, because 2021 promises to be much better as long as everyone stays healthy. May God bless, and thank you.